Radical.
If you have been following the Dave Chappelle situation, basically what happened was in his old high school, a high school, by the way, that he had donated millions of dollars to and much of his own time, was going to name a theater in his honor. And he was going to go there for the ceremony. But what got in the way of that was the cancel culture, was the movement to cancel Dave Chappelle, and also some students there that didn't feel comfortable with Dave Chappelle being there. Uh-huh. Well, here's what he did. He had a surprise visit in Thanksgiving there. He went there and he had the intention to basically have an open discussion with the students. So we had an event set. Someone came out and said, let's focus on, discussion, the conversation, and not cancellation, which is great, I think. Conversation, not cancellation. You get it? A lot of these people in the cancel culture, they don't really believe in having an open conversation. They would rather just rush to cancel. So he's there. And I'm not going to go into a lot of the details, but there were a lot of students that were fine with him. And they were, basically backing him, big fans of Dave Chappelle. And he didn't want to hear from those students. He didn't want to hear from those students. He wanted to hear from the students that had an issue with him. And he basically wanted to ask, what the problem was. Again, like a very Dave Chappelle thing to do, an open conversation with these students. Well, some of the students walked out. They said he was condescending, but he's there. He took his precious time to go there, and he actually talked to the students. He didn't have to, but Dave Chappelle wanted to basically come there and see what the issue was, because it seems like he's very just troubled at the fact that people don't understand that he's a comedian doing his craft. And he said some shocking things. The fact that every person in the crowd during his special had to pass through the legs of a female to be here. That was apparently a shocking thing that set off shock waves, even though it's a fact. There was a student that asked about, his misgendering. And then he basically said to the student, what is misgendering? But yeah, it's a very Dave Chappelle thing to do. And not only did he come there on his own time to talk to those students to try to have an open dialogue, but he brought 600 Thanksgiving meals there. The guy is bending over backwards here, right? He's a nice guy. He's a good guy. He just happens to be a comedian. And his job is, shockingly, to maybe push the boundaries a little bit. And through his comedy, to help people have a conversation. But like I said, the thing about cancel culture is they don't want open thoughts. They don't want people even thinking anymore, right? They don't. Like Dave Chappelle, I'm a realist. I'm a realist. And when it comes to, men dressing up like women and women dressing up like men, I see that as a little funny. I see that as kind of silly. A man trying to be a woman, he can never be a woman. So that's kind of funny. It was the basis of comedy for forever. Used to be a time where you could actually make jokes about men dressing up like women, and it was funny, right? Well, it's like this. I'm a realist. I see things as a realist. I equate to this. Let's say you see a guy. He's in makeup. He's got a wig on. He's in high heels, right? That's funny. But it's funny because it makes no sense. It doesn't vibe with reality. Like, if you was walking down the street and somebody was walking their dog and you kneel down to pet the dog, and you start, petting your dog and you're like, oh, you're adorable, you're adorable. And then the dog looked up at you and went, meow. You'd be like, what the hell? You would be shocked. Just think about that right now. A dog meowing at you or a cat going, roof, roof, roof. It just makes no sense.